Hi guys. Today I'm going to tell you about my favorite writer when I was a kid, Jules Verne. You know his name, obviously. He is famous for a series of books that was called the Voyage Extraordinaire, or literally Extraordinary Journeys, which is a series of more than 50 novels, including very famous ones such as Journey to the Center of the Earth, or Around the World in 80 Days, From the Earth to the Moon, and maybe his most famous one, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He created characters that are still popular today, such as Phileas Fogg or Captain Nemo, and his novels were adapted many times in plays, in movies, and continue to be read. Actually, I read that he was the second most translated writer in the world, just after Agatha Christie. So, what I would like to do today is talk about his universe, what this tells us about the time when he wrote these novels, and think about the enduring success that this writer continues to enjoy today, because I think it tells us a couple of things about present time. Jules Verne was a man of the 19th century. He was born in Nantes, a French city on the Atlantic coast, and he decided to move to Paris to go to law school, essentially under the pressure of his father, but he felt that he had a vocation for literature, and against his father's will, he dropped law and started a career as a writer of novels, plays, poetry too, even though he is essentially remembered today for the novels. His first writings were published in the 1850s with moderate success, and actually his career really took off in the 1860s when, teaming with his editor, he launched this series of the Extraordinary Journeys. He was immediately immensely popular in France, and he was also almost immediately translated into English. I'm saying this because it is important to know that the image of Jules Verne for a long time has been quite different in his own country and in the English-speaking world. In France, his novels were written for a very wide public, but mainly adults, whereas in the US or in the UK, he was marketed as a writer for children, and the translations of his novels were extremely simplified. All the parts that could have been a bit more difficult to understand for children were dropped, and generally the tone of the novels was more childish or more adapted to this audience. And it is only since the 1970s or the 1980s that new translations of his works have been made in the US and in the UK. So, what explains the success? I think the core of Jules Verne's success comes from his capacity to speak to the inner child in us, but in a very realistic way. He describes a world of adventure, discoveries, monsters, technology. I'll come back to that in a minute, with vehicles like submarines or even a spaceship in from the Earth to the Moon. And he's doing this in a very adult way, with a scientific explanation to everything, credible or not, but it has the appearance of credibility. And he does it so well that the most fabulous and fantastic discoveries look rational or plausible, and for that reason you feel like you are in a daydream when reading his stories. The technology had a major importance in his work, and in that he is really the son of his time. When he started to publish the extraordinary journeys, the regime in France was a second empire, and France was going through an acceleration in the industrial revolution, like the rest of Europe. The industrial production was growing quickly. Railways were fastly covering the west of Europe. It was a time of scientific discoveries. The electricity was starting to become important. Astronomy opened new fields that made the man realize the immensity of space. Discoveries in medicine and biology were showing that there was a microscopic world that had been ignored until then. And this was also a time of exploration of the world. The Europeans were exploring Africa. This is the time when Livingstone, for example, traveled to the sources of the Nile. The US were expanding to the west, and the Europeans were beginning the methodical colonization of the world. So this was, in the eye of the European man, a period when everything looked possible. There was a phase in science and progress which was vindicated by all these discoveries and the technical and military superiority of the Western world. And this created a very specific kind of vision of the world. At the core of it was the faith in science, the belief that the scientific approach would allow man to understand everything, and that everything was possible. This belief that only scientific knowledge is real knowledge, which is called positivism, is really something that characterizes men like Jules Verne. He was not completely naive. He had understood, and we see it in his novels, the destructive power of technology. But nevertheless, he presented science and this technical progress in a very joyful way. Science and all the technical means that were becoming available were opening a world of wonders, a world in which it was possible to explore the center of the earth, like in a journey to the center of the earth, and discover another world populated with incredible creatures, a world in which it would be possible to go deep under the sea in a submarine, like in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and discover new forms of life and monsters that live in the abyss. A world too where it is possible to travel and discover exotic cultures, typically like in 5 weeks in a balloon, or around the world in 80 days, and even a world where it is possible to leave our planet, like in one of his most famous novels, From the Earth to the Moon, where scientists in a giant bullet are propelled from the Earth to our satellite. And this, I think, explains a lot of the appeal that Jules Verne still has today, because this joyful way of seeing science, this faith in progress, is something that would be challenged in the 20th century with 2 world wars that proved the destructive capacity of technology. After the Holocaust, after atomic weapons appeared, it had become impossible to see science and technical progress in such an optimistic and positive way. So entering the world of Jules Verne makes us return to another time when all of that had not taken place yet, and where we could afford to be optimist and confident in the future. Another sign that Jules Verne was a son of his time is how he saw and how he shows us non-white populations in his novels. You couldn't really call them racist, but they were at least patronizing or condescending towards African and Asian populations. Not that the characters that are not white are bad persons in his novels. Actually, they tend to be characters that help the heroes and have a positive role, but they are rather archetypal and often presented as intellectually limited, at least in comparison with the true heroes, which obviously were either French or English or German or Americans, but never came from other civilizations. Once again, I'm not saying this to condemn Jules Verne's works, because we have to take the context into account, but his works also are a testimony of how the Europeans could see the rest of the world in the 19th century. As you know, Jules Verne is also considered one of the fathers of science fiction. I don't think we could really call him a visionary writer. He was more a prospectivist, if you want. He was taking the current state of the technology of his time and imagining if this was pushed a bit further, what it could produce in terms of machines in particular. But all the novels he wrote are supposed to take place in present time, the present time of the moment when he wrote them. And what makes him a science fiction writer is more the fascination for technology and its implications, which is still today one aspect of science fiction, and maybe also the taste for exploration and discoveries, which is at the very heart of his stories, and also is at the heart of modern science fiction. That will be all for today. I hoped you find it interesting, and as always, your comments are very welcome below the video. Bye bye.